Hot. I'm in the heat dome. You were in a heat dome a month ago or, when? Okay. So it's oh, you're getting rain. Alright. We don't feel like we've gotten it well, my housemate was saying it was like it hasn't rained a lot, but I thought it rained a substantial amount. But we have had a week or 2 without a lot of rain. But we did have some weeks where it did rain a lot, so, maybe I'm thinking of April versus May, and then June hasn't we haven't gotten much rain in June at all. June's been dry. Which is sort of normal now, but, at least we're no New York's never on fire, and that's gotta be our main tourist like, migrate to New York, we aren't on fire. Never on fire. Ugh, really. Mm. Okay, so folks, we are continuing our watch react to the second Civil War, 97 HBO produced. We when we last left off, how about you give us the recap, Zach? There are no heroes, first of all. I guess James Earl Jones is the hero. No, no, he's the jack off reporter. Yeah. He's literally watching TV while he's meant to be reporting on the border crisis, but the border crisis isn't where you think. It's in Idaho with the United States. Just and it was closed by a guy who is more a governor more concerned with his affair with a Latina reporter than anything else. It's what he's constantly talking about when he's not in front of the cameras, in which he speaks of the usual reactionary rhetoric of we need to protect our way of life from those people, which in this case happen to be Pakistani orphans, because there has been a nuclear war, and apparently it's the orphans that are the big deal out of that. It's not the fact that there's been a nuclear war. You
Yep.
think that would throw the whole global order into a tizzy, but no, the crisis is in Idaho. And
Crisis is
so
nigh.
there's this not quite well set up tension where the president wants to take decisive action. He's a real boob of a president, as we always did. I mean, before W, the president was always like a not uh, not a strong person, not considered a strong person.
Uh-huh.
And although I guess Reagan was considered a strong decider type, but any Democrat wouldn't be. They'd be feckless and follow trends and whatever. Jewish media, whatever
Sure.
right wingers say. And jeez, sorry, I'm coming off of watching a Caitlin, um, the knitting right winger who infiltrates socialist, and she does streams where she teaches her audience how to speak socialist, and she was doing a watch stream like we're doing, but she was watching the Century of the Self with this guy called Big Tech.
Big
That's his
tech.
handle.
Oh
Big
wow.
Tech. And from I couldn't quite tell what kind of streamer he is, but like he kind of came off like an incel or a manosphere kind of guy.
Jeez.
But it was interesting. Like they got stun locked arguing about twice about totalities of like this cycle of thinking because they're just so fucking lost philosophically between personal responsibility, manifesting, new age is liberal, capitalist ideology and this hatred of the left and collectivism. Except when but Caitlyn was literally like spouting half-baked New Age Buddhist style, where it's like everything is the same, and everything, separation is an illusion. So, and like love is everything, and we're just loving beings, and we need to love ourselves. And the left's big problem is that we don't love ourselves, Zach. She just she thinks the answer that we beat communism by getting leftists and teaching them how to love themselves. Because they're watching The Century of the Self, which is one of those documentary series by the British documentarian, and it's basically following the idea to idea over the 20th century that creates postmodern culture, basically.
Okay.
And it's literally talking about and displaying how the left is destroyed, particularly the boomer left, and they're turning inward. And they're interviewing guys who are like, this was a tragedy, this was the wrong way, because it was basically like, it was the socialism of one. Like, you're gonna change the world by changing yourself. We're gonna build socialism, but internally, in our own minds, because we have to do that first. That's why we couldn't beat the cops in the Democrat Party machine. See, we didn't have, we couldn't transform. Like, we still had the cop in our heads.
Oh, it's cop in our heads. Okay.
Yeah. It's, at least those are the ones that were the non-political hippies, as far as I'm concerned. Because the political hippies stayed back, but they were left very alone and unable to organize any mass movement, at least among their peers, because all their peers were going to these retreats, doing therapy, and finding themselves. And it's weird that Caitlyn is watching this and like just trying to pull these parallels of like, this is what the left is now. I'm like, yeah, but that means it's not socialist. And it's the socialists like us and the ones that you're harping about and afraid of. We're the ones rejecting this, the thing that you're watching, and the change that was occurred, because these were our parents, and we realized that they had left-wing politics, except it manifested as war, and it culminates with Obama. A big fat nothing. So anyway, so that's our intro for the recap. So I think we just left off where the crisis is coming to a head. U.S. troops, the actual military, going against the Constitution, committing hostile kamikades. And actually, they're going to be confronting the Idaho National Guard, armed with World War II style tanks and whatever else they got lying around, and as well as their stockpiled armories.
Yes.
Courtesy of the NRA.
Let's see how it all plays out.
And we're trying to figure out if this is like satire or made to be taken a little seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I did go look it up on like IMDb or one of those ones. It does say it's supposed to be satire, but like, I feel like they can't even decide themselves, like, when they want it to be super serious and like really driving a message home, and when they want it to be, just a slapstick, madcap sort of comedy. So
that's what makes it. We can say it's bad satire, because 10,000 YouTube videos will be about how this satire sucks, and it sucks for the way we're describing this. That it's ham-fisted, it's too leaning into its message, it's got to hammer it onto us, but it doesn't know what kind of position it wants to take, because satirists usually don't either have to conceal it or they don't have one, and they're just critiquing power.
Yep.
But whose power?
Whose power? That is the $1 million question. All right, well, let's continue on here.
From a deepening crisis. Some observers fear the possibility of an armed attack by federal troops. An announcement from the White House is expected within the hour.
Brendan, I'm going to need an Eisenhower kind of quote. Something with a ring of leadership to it.
An Eisenhower quote? I'll do me best, sir.
I'm sure you will, Brendan. Thank you very much.
tractor. Aici conduc o limuzină. E o chestie, nu?
Now, we're going to need another Eisenhower quote. So let's dream one up, lads, huh?
It's blackmail. No blackmail. We'll not be party to such high-handed tactics.
No. How about this? In my judgment, we gotta call in the army because otherwise...
Prosim. The flower of democracy will not be trampled under the foot of rebellion.
That's closer, Vaclav. Hey, but still, I'm missing the poetry, boys. Bro, let's hear it, lad.
We must endure, and we must prevail. If this...
So is this supposed to be like the Foreign Press Corps, or like who are these people, and why do they?
I believe they're they just took an order. Well, they're writing something for the president, which is just the speech team. But they just took an order from the PR guy, who's not on the White House staff. He's not a cabinet guy. He's not in the cabinet. He's representing outside special interests. Because back in the 90s, right, you didn't have, I mean, this is continued for certain politicians to use the phrase special interests.
Sure.
Which is to say an interest group, which is what democracies are made of. They're made of various and some usually specialized interest groups. But there's a populist sort of reactionary or conservative strain where a special interest is not being specialized, similar to the way that like these egghead elitists are have specialized knowledge. They're throwing their wool over your eyes because you are a normal salt of the earth American. You know, a moron. So it's the same kind of strain of like a special interest is special and you're not special. And most people don't consider themselves special, and they thus special is actually a pejorative.
Yep.
Special interest, meaning not you.
Yeah.
Even though a special interest could be orphans, or but usually it means guns, the tobacco lobby, or any kind of
minority
lobby.
rights. Yeah.
But a special interest could also be abortion access, or then genocide. You know, we're special. We're full of special interests. So I think with increased partisanship and the existence of partisanship after 2000, I think the phrase fell out of favor. But in the 90s, the special interest was like the boogeyman, corrupting democracy.
Sure.
Taking it from. It wasn't just that people were able to buy elections. That's perfectly fine. That's everybody's right. But there were certain special interests that aren't individuals. Right, they're organized. An organization is suspicious.
So much more sinister,
because it's collective. It's more than one person, and obviously the backbone of all freedom is to just act individually in your own interests. And they're doing it with a group, bundling money and hiring people. Anyway.
Okay. Well, let's continue on with these spot on
and they're all foreign or vaguely ethnic. See, the guy was Irish accent.
Yeah, he's like
I don't know how that's.
It's like Owen Wilson trying to do an Irish accent. Like that's all I can think.
Yeah. You had a Russian. I guess the middle guy's Indian, and I'm assuming I was expecting an Arabic accent.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of actors in the 90s and 80s did not know how to do Arabic accents.
That's a good point.
None of them are Arab, after all. But you sort of coming off as maybe just Southern European, like
vaguely European,
or maybe he's just meant to be Hispanic.
Yeah, who knows?
I think I'm just getting Hispanic.
Could be. All right, well, let's continue on.
By the way, I'm going to be rubbing my eye a lot. I've got this itch in the corner of my eye. It's like it's red. I don't know what to do about it. Maybe I throw some eye drops, but I don't want it to make it worse.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Slender thread of truth is to remain woven into the fabric of civilized life.
The slender thread of truth.
And just as Eisenhower said years ago, we must endure. We must prevail if the slender thread of truth is to remain woven into the fabric of civilized life. It was with that sentiment that my predecessor so many years ago
That Eisenhower had a way
held
with
this
words.
nation together.
Washington continues to mobilize troops. With 64 hours left, 2 battalions from
before
North
Brad.
Carolina, an entire brigade from the 1st Infantry, and
They
several
also have to be
armored
Southern.
companies from
That's
Texas are
what
being
makes
sent
it
to
work.
Utah, not far from the Idaho border.
They're not going from Fort
Citizens
Drum.
from across that state are signing up as volunteers in the National Guard. Others are rallying around the various private
looks like the
militias
cream
that
of the crop
support
here.
Governor Farley.
Hi, folks. How's everybody doing? Good, good. We're a Newsnet crew from New York City. Well, near New York. It's practically New Jersey. We're here because we want to tell your side of the story. Now, I know you're probably pretty suspicious of the media because of the way they've portrayed you in the past. Let's face the facts. Why not? They're always portraying you as these sort of stereotypical ultra-right-wing, gun-crazed, union-busting wackos.
Good, Vinny.
But tell you what, let's take this opportunity to jump right over those left-wing, liberal, East Coast media elite types and bring your story right to the American people.
And that's why I'm supporting Governor Farley. The foreigners are taking our jobs. And enough is enough.
Because I want my grandson to live in a country where we don't owe every cent to bankers from around the world.
I knew it was time for me and my brother Alan here to start buying missiles to defend our farm from the federal government that was trying to take all our guns away. And once all the guns are gone, who's going to stand up to the people that are trying to take your freedom away?
What the hell, damn it. Christina, please, don't do this. Now, come here, come here.
I've already done it. I've asked for a transfer.
Why?
Because I'm Mexican. I should be reporting from Tijuana, not Boise, for Pete's sake.
Please. Christina, don't let all this national issue stuff screw things up between you and me. I mean, just because you're Mexican is no reason to go crazy. No, and I'm not just keeping back Mexicans. It's everyone from Afghans to Zambians. Now, just don't make this into a personal thing between you and me. Now, come on.
I feel sick.
What's wrong with you?
I've been sick for 3 days. I have to go.
Christina! Steve! Get an ambulance!
No. Huh? I'm okay. I'm
sure?
okay. I'm okay. I just want to be alone.
You know, fucked it up. All your mink
What's
coat
go-
do-gooders who talk more about their rights
What
than their
is
duties
that
so much.
about?
That was so completely random.
That's not a way of faking to get away from him.
No.
What the fuck?
Like, I thought she was gonna go with like, oh, I've had all this sickness in the morning every morning here, and I was gonna throw
For 3 days.
throw a
Oh,
baby
I'm
into
pregnant.
yeah, right.
I guess they're just jumping all the
I don't
marine
know.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bizarre
It's gotta be
scene.
sloppy. Yeah. All right, let's move on.
All right. Let's see.
Got it. But I'm just getting more and more cringe from this.
Yeah.
And of course, cringe is meaning I'm secondhand embarrassed.
Yeah,
for
right.
this, for everyone involved in this, like Dennis Leary, like it. Who finds that kind of performance funny? I get. It's a very '90s thing to.
Yeah.
That there was an audience for jackasses, like
guess
Pauly
so.
Shore.
I guess so.
Like mean-spirited assholes.
Yeah, he's coastal elitist, but like.
Yeah.
But he's not even
But
funny,
he's
though.
talking to the people that he's like. He's just super awkward.
Yeah, he's awkward and he's not funny.
I know nerds like us are supposed to love awkward humor, right? Or is that the other way around?
Yeah, we are, but like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's cringe, but not in a enjoyable. You can get something out of the way. It's just like, why is this man being shoveled money in this time of his career?
We're talking about the meta here, of course. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a little bit of humor here and there, like the pan over to the missile launcher.
Sure, that was
and
funny.
That's when we knew
That was
we had
genuinely funny.
We had missiles to protect our farm.
To protect our
And-
farm.
And
All
you
people
have
coming to grab the guns.
Well, it's interesting that like you have the one complaint. We're talking about real like right wing populism now, where the fear of it's not that everything's owned by it's okay when everything's owned by American bankers. It's foreign bankers.
Yeah,
bankers from around the world. So,
yeah.
and this is globalism. And I actually came to I don't know if a conclusion, but like I want to use that word to describe our current world economic system instead of just late stage capitalism. Sometimes it's used just to refer to the 20 years after World War II, late capitalism, but like that's too specific. Like, why? That's our boom times, but it's not like the world system. I guess between Bretton Woods and going off the U.S. gold standard, but I don't know. I see it as more continuous than that, and to say that like our hegemony, U.S. hegemony, is the globalist hegemony. It is the lowering of the cost of exchange, which allows for skyscraper-sized tanker ships to roam around and whatnot. And for that free flow of goods and capital, but not people.
Sure.
Which is the crisis shown here, I guess. But it started with, oh, those foreigners are taking our jobs. Like the jobs in Idaho?
Yeah.
Your job?
Yeah. Well,
but I guess if it is a matter
refugees.
of
yeah.
But if it is a matter of offshoring, which probably occurred in every state, I'm sure every state has jobs that got to offshore. But again, those are American capitalists making that call.
Like you can't really offshore. You can't really offshore potatoes. So, like.
Well, there was probably anxiety that you could. I mean,
maybe
couldn't a Chinese farmer grow potatoes for cheaper?
I mean,
and
maybe
ship it over here.
Case.
I mean, we do that with pears.
Yeah, that's true.
And salad, the 1,000-mile salad.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Lower standards for what agricultural products they can use. Yeah.
But the food's tasteless. You know, I encountered a clip from King of the Hill where seeking better meat.
I know what you're talking
Hank shops at the co-op, and when he brings it home along with fresh tomato, organic veggies.
Yeah.
Of course, the family's suspicious and skeptical. He's skeptical. He's unsure. But as soon as he takes a bite, he's like, "This is the best steak I've ever had in my life." and then like Bobby says like, "Oh, you got to taste this tomato," and it's like, what are you talking about, Bobby? Tomatoes don't have flavor.
Tomatoes don't have taste. Yeah.
Oh my god! And then Peggy goes like, "If this is food, what have we been eating all our lives?"
That's good. That was one of the best shows, man.
But you can tell it was written by although actually no, it's sort of true to life that as Hank helps the co-op be profitable, they sell out to a larger company.
Right.
Which
they weren't actually standing for anything. They immediately sell out their values. Yep.
Yeah, that's that's the Mike Judge philosophy.
Yeah, right. It's very cynical.
For really anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the hippies.
Even the hippies. All right, let's continue.
Money at every problem they see. Fuck you, Chris, all right? Half the people I went to school with can't get jobs now.
So, seal the borders, bring the jobs back. There's more to life than cheap sneakers.
This is not a fraternity, all right? We're a news network. We got work to do.
Mel, Jim, I got this idea that hits exactly what you're talking about.
What is it?
Anybody want coffee?
The orphans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Rachel, bring up JFK. Okay, you remember those old rock and rollers from years ago? They sang "We Are the World." Well, how about we get a copy of the old video of them singing their hearts out? You know, noble, caring humanity, the world coming together, a brighter day, and all that shit. We intercut it with shots of these orphans. I mean, these orphans are alive, but hell, we could get some dead ones. You know, and you cut back and forth between these wonderful lyrics and maybe go instrumental like violins over the orphans. I mean, Christ, who in their right mind would ever tune that out and go to the Home Shopping Network?
Closed caption off? I find it distracting.
Mel, the boy just came alive.
Or do you need it? Or do you
Hell of an
want
idea, Matthew.
it for the audience?
But also, you could superimpose.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do it for the audience, but that's fine. No problem.
The face of the rock musicians on the orphans to make them look like they're playing the instruments. Or you could take the orphans' faces and put them on the rock musicians and make them look like they're singing. Or you could take a hologram of one of the rock musicians and put them amongst the orphans.
This is going a little too long.
You could go to like
Marianne?
To a farming.
Marianne? Is anybody listening to me in Brownsville? Marianne, hello?
Mel, I'm having trouble hearing you. There's huge numbers of Mexicans pouring over the border. I'm ready. I'm ready.
This is how it happens,
And these
folks.
people streaming across the Rio Grande from Mexico into Texas
Wait,
are moving
what?
north for the same reason as those in California, Arizona, and New Mexico. A fear that Governor Jim Farley's solution might be...
Why am I here in Boise? My parents crossed the border just like those people are now. I should be on the border, not Marianne Wong.
Christina, I can't have Mexicans covering Mexicans and Arabs covering Arabs.
Esas son mi gente. Yo no quiero estar aquí mientras que ellos tengan problemas. No, definitivamente.
Mel, it's Ellen.
Me da la gana. Estás muy
Later,
equivocada.
Christina. Okay, people, teamwork.
Let's go now to Los Angeles, where the mayor, Javier Clark, is speaking.
Bienvenidos, amigos. Agradezco tu presencia hoy aquí conmigo. En vista de lo ocurrido en el estado de Idaho.
Oh, shit.
Where the hell is simultaneous translation? Where's Domingo?
Domingo's wife is having a baby.
Wait. Christina. Christina, honey, I need you to...
Don't honey me. You cut me off.
It was a snafu, darling. Please, listen to me. We're patching up a feed from L.A. Do me a favor and do the simultaneous translation.
I'm a reporter, not a translator.
Christina, I'm begging you, okay? For all that we've meant to each other?
All we've meant to each other? Are you crazy? Never.
Y a pesar de lo que pasa en la nación,
And there is no question of the so-called border being closed unless we agree. Just because Mr. Farley and his anglers want to set the clock back and keep us in our place for the next 2 centuries. Whatever the politicians up north want to do, that's their problem, but here it's different. The border is no longer just a matter for Washington or the Senor Farleys of the world. No. We have as much to say over the border as any bureaucrat in Washington. See, Los Angeles is not simply American territory anymore. I mean, just listen to our name, Los Angeles. Does that sound like an English language?
Letting us all know how much you've meant to each other.
San Francisco, Las Vegas, no. These are the names that our people gave them before the lands were ripped from their ancestors and distributed among the Anglos.
Yeah, well, who do we have there? Anybody? Mohammed Amin.
The roof, sniper!
We are trying to establish contact with reporter Mohammed Amin.
Man, those are some really sloppy assassins. I don't think they got a single person there.
And it's not a very good line of fire to do it from the roof of a
Right,
building
from
that they're in
behind,
front
like
of.
that they can quickly take
Right?
shelter underneath, right?
Now this, this is pre 9/11 because they were able to get up onto the roof.
Sure, yeah.
Probably through 3 locked doors. No alarms tripped. With guns, large guns.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Of what could be LA City Hall. Is that what that's supposed to be?
I'm not even sure. Yeah, I guess LA City Hall.
Anyway, whatever. We can suspend a little disbelief.
No, of course we can. It was just
it's
kinda
so
funny.
frenetic. But yeah, there's not a lot of the pacing is horrible. Is it just me? The going from scene to scene
Yeah.
and the frenetic, like you want to they do a joke that's a little longer, so it's a little slower.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes it feel so out of place.
Right, it just
because
goes on
everything's
too
just
long.
snappy.
Yeah.
Media saturation,
Right.
hypernormality.
I think that's
Oh
the
man,
thing.
they make up an Eisenhower quote, and there's no fact
Right.
checker to say, wait, that isn't a
Not an
quote
Eisenhower
from
quote.
Eisenhower at all. And that a president can't just have his own lines, because how else? It's basically like after a certain year, let's say it's 1972, presidents don't have their own quotable things anymore. They
Mhm.
have to quote the good presidents from the past. Does the W or any other Republicans do they quote Reagan a lot? I think they would time to time. I know a lot of Republicans do. It's like, as great Ronald Reagan would say.
Maybe.
But did he say?
I mean, other than like referencing the shining city on a hill, I don't think I hear it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there aren't that many great American speeches anymore, especially in our times of pluralism, which is a good thing. You know, it's like everything is always happening all at once. That's why fashion trends are basically a thing of the past. All fashion trends are all the time. You can wear whatever you want and it will work. You wear the clothes that work for you.
Yeah.
Because there's no monoculture anymore. And thus there's no one there's no president or representative that can be America. And but that's what makes certain Americans very anxious, that they're not the monoculture. They're not guiding it. They're not in control of it. If they ever were, I suppose for a few decades, or when they put in the Hays Code or the Comic Code, like that's enforcing the monoculture. Or because it's a monoculture, whatever is happening everywhere, and so it's like it has to be controlled. And the fact that it's not a monoculture, well, it doesn't matter if this over here is slasher porn, or this over here is anime, and this over here is church singing.
Sure,
it can all happen, and it exists.
All happen. Yep. All right, let's get back in on the action.
We're coming in.
Alina, you've seen the shooting. It is still going on. I saw 3, maybe 4 snipers on the roof. One was wearing the color of one of the city's black gangs that have said that they will stop the Latinos from completely taking over Los Angeles. The black gangs have said that they will not recognize Mexican authority here. Does anybody here speak English? Yeah. Habla English? No. Anybody?
Nellies. Wait, so these are the blacks.
Yes,
black gangs are doing, because they don't want the Latinos taking over.
Right, a spontaneous race war has popped off because people are crossing the border, you know, as happens in real life all the time.
And it isn't white Angelinos.
No, this time it's the black ones against the.
Because these metro areas are all minority. There's no whitey in it at all. I stopped reading the second book in Kunstler's novel series.
Oh yeah, which one?
Not because of not so much because, well, part of it's the content, and keep putting in this magical realism thing, where there's like this witch who's like able to give men sexy dreams, and she is a sex worker, ex-model, but. Yeah, and there's this other church guy, and but he keeps splitting the point of view. He basically has like 8 characters he's ping-ponging between, including this bandit guy. Yeah, and I'm like, I get that he wants to show different points of view, but this is like, because the first novel was all from one point of view, and I think that worked.
Sure.
And now he's doing the opposite, and I don't think it's working. Because, I mean, it does allow you to show multiple things and what's going on in different parts of the county or whatever, and it'll all come together at the end or something. And I guess as a creative type, you try those things. But
sure.
I don't like it.
So is this his World Made by Hand series, or is this his new one? Or, World Made by Hand. Okay. That sounds.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's following a 11-year-old kid, and this is a man who should not be writing kids.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he does not capture
the kid basically characters. In wanting to see like this prize stallion, and he brought his dog, which is one of the few dogs in town, because dogs are actually expensive to keep around if they're not farm dogs with a purpose.
Sure.
Which this dog wasn't. And the dog gets himself killed and trampled by a horse, and distraught and in grief. And because his father doesn't know how to like console him properly, he goes and takes some of the opiates that his doctor has been processing and feeds it to the horse and kills the horse. And so now he's like on the run going to Glens Falls, which is the nearest town. But like, part of me wants to know what happens when he gets there. But like, he's basically been completely sidetracked, because basically this bandit basically stopped him and wants to take him under his wing Why? Because he stopped by a house to get food because he didn't bring enough for 2 days. He helped clean like this old man's boils, and his daughter, who's also kind of older, didn't really want to pay him with anything because like they didn't have food to spare. I mean, they sort of did and they sort of didn't. Like they had goats, and when he said like, "Do you have any cheese?" I would take cheese as payment. She was like, "No, we don't have cheese." And when he said like, "Well, it seems hard to believe you wouldn't have any cheese. You have goats." And she's like, "Are you calling me a liar?" And then she threatened him with like a pruning fork or whatever. So like, get the hell out of here, and didn't give him anything. So when relating that, like why he doesn't have anything on him to the bandit, it's like, you know what? Let's go back there and get you your payment. So they do some burglary and take the metal money they had, and he slaughters one of the goats so they can take the meat. Anyway, it's he's a real asshole, but he has a song to sing, and that's what makes him better than he's a bandit like the Wet Bandits.
Okay, it's
like he sees himself as like, I'm a character, and I'm going to like, when people are robbed by me, I'm going to sing my song so they'll remember me, and my fame will grow.
Well, that's
and even the 11-year-old's like, if you do that enough, they're going to come after you in force, and you'll regret being famous. And he's like, oh no. Okay,
I mean, that sounds entertaining at least.
Yeah, but it's not the entertainment I want.
Gotcha.
That's not what I want. No, I'm going to go back to reading Red Plenty. I read about how communism can work.
All right.
Hypothetically.
Closing the damn border.
Governor, Colonel McNally on the phone.
Governor,
Grizzled
we can
old
see 2 busloads of orphans being unloaded the other side of the border here. I just want to clarify our mission with respect to these children. What do we do if they march them up between us and the federal troops?
You could always tell when a crisis started really affecting us. When it gets too close to home, all the bad taste jokes cease. And when the orphans move up to the Idaho border, people start looking harder at the images of those kids, of the soldiers, and of ordinary people like themselves.
What the hell are they doing bringing orphans into a fucking war zone?
Really, for Christ's sake, shut up. We're taping you, moron.
I'm gonna give this one a piece of my mind.
Don't go down there.
How is this guy not fired?
Right?
Eddie, what's going on? Show me a picture. What's happening there?
Hey, Mel. You know, we were just looking for my contact lens. Here it is. Right here. Oh, great. See? All right, I guess we're ready.
I mean, obviously this guy's
all right, let's shoot.
Boss. All of his employees hate him.
And with no sign that the deadline will be extended by the president, both sides are hardening their positions. Federal troops are arriving at Hill Air Base in northern Utah. So far, more than 8,000 combat-ready troops are there, under the command of General Charles Buford.
Move, y'all.
Buford was second in command of the Army units sent into Algeria to rescue the hundreds of American oil workers facing execution by Islamic fundamentalists.
Wait, Algeria? That would be the National Liberation Front, ma'am.
Yeah.
Not Islamic terrorists.
They just keep throwing more stuff into the mix. I don't know. Maybe it seems like more is going on in the world.
Well,
like,
it's almost like, well, no, this is, I mean, the satire is almost like it's from the perspective of like, this is a political crisis from the mind of a dumb American.
Yeah, okay.
This is how a dumb American sees the world. What was the general doing in the Middle East? Oh, he was saving Americans from those, crazy Muslims. It wasn't anti-colonialism. There's no other issues. There's just them, and they're scary, and they're not me. But James Earl Jones is saying, like, look, when the rubber hits the road, people get, will be more PC. Because the jab at like bad taste jokes, like the kind that come from the comedian who is rolling in the dirt.
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. This guy's supposed to be a journalist working for the network.
Right.
The fuck? Is he representing some kind of shock jock who was like on cable news? That didn't exist.
On cable news? No. Maybe, yeah.
Like there are there's a trope of the hot shot reporter who's slick but they would have charisma and would be slick
Good at what
and
they do.
like savvy
Yeah,
and climbing the ladder, making them names for themselves, looking for the scoop, doesn't care who they step on the way.
Sure.
But I'm not getting that from this
No.
character. He's pretty much playing himself, I guess, or whatever character he is.
I don't think Denis Leary knows how to play anybody but himself.
Well, wasn't he
in
in an FX show about firemen?
Yeah, but he's kind of like Denis Leary if he decided to be a fireman rather than a comedian, I guess.
It's Denis Leary as a fireman.
As a fireman,
kind of like Rob Schneider is a carrot.
Yeah.
He's an animal. He's the hot chick. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. All right. Let's see what happens next. Now Algeria's in the mix.
Well, he seems old enough that he would be like a Korea. Or he was a commander.
Oh, turn this down.
What the hell is he doing?
Pretty sure the National Guard answers this whole like two sides thing. Oh, I see. They're both old generals. These are two different old ass generals.
Two old ass generals. One's from the army, so he actually has sent in the army, not just the National Guard from other states. Yeah.
Right. Well, no. We acknowledge that would be the sensible reaction.
Yeah.
To use the National Guard from other states.
Ratchet up that tension.
He literally used, or the media used, like, oh, this is like after Brown versus Board of Education.
Right, yeah.
And Eisenhower. This is what Eisenhower did to desegregate schools. Now we're desegregating states' rights, I guess, or immigration rights between states.
I guess. It's kind of weird.
Of course, it's not a good analogy. It's bad satire.
Yeah.
Meeting of the minds.
That's right.
Equals.
I've been waiting 12 years for this candy ass.
Hey, Chuck. Fuck you.
Oh, no, you ain't. Not after what you did to us in the Persian Gulf, you.
You puffed up piece of shit if you hadn't been chasing headlines.
I was supposed to get into Q8 City first. It was mine, goddammit.
Whose fault was it that you stopped for an interview with ABC News?
And you lied to me about your position, didn't you?
Of course I did, Chuck. It was a race, and I got to Kuwait first.
Well, fuck you.
You're kind of a sore loser, aren't you, shithead?
Lena, we have a picture now, no audio, however.
There's an incredible dignity to something like this.
Well, that's funny. That's genuinely
funny. That's a good joke. Yeah.
Gulf of human passion.
I mean, they're dick measuring, you know.
Yeah.
About Desert Storm, which wasn't
Lincoln
too long ago.
Report back to him.
Wouldn't Lincoln have been dead by the time Lee and Grant met?
Whatever. There's something compelling, something eloquent about those two.
Blow it out your ass, you prick.
Fuck you, asshole. Go find your mama.
That's it.
That's it.
Intake? You see set 4? You better be recording this.
Where's it coming from?
The Alamo.
LA Riots, Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Alamo! They've blown up
Sorry, I have some siren.
Wait, they've blown up the Alamo. Okay.
Wow.
What? Do you speak English? You speak English. I don't understand you. Habla English.
English? Alamo gone. Don't need to speak English no more.
That was the barrier.
That was the last thing.
That was the big key.
Upholding, speaking of English.
With the Mexicans there. What comic book you been getting your information from, son? Davy Crockett wasn't even on the winning team.
Davy Crockett was a hero.
Only reason Davy Crockett's a hero because Disney figured out how to make a buck off those hats.
True.
Federal troops moving toward Idaho.
Very true. Is that supposed to be a white beater shirt he's wearing?
Governor?
Or is it,
Spent the night here last night, huh?
Yeah, it does look like that, yeah.
I was thinking of that beautiful piece of land I wanted to buy out by the lake, the one with its own boat dock. Is that still available?
Governor, I don't know. We got an escalation problem on our hands.
I should have bought it.
Governor.
I'd love to go up there for a few days.
He's in a depressed stupor.
Governor, the feds have stopped their troops less than a mile from our border. Now we got to get to the media and seize the moral high ground on this one.
I'm getting damn tired of all this moral high ground. I prefer rolling around in the mud. You meet more interesting people there.
It's immediate.
I'm sick of the goddamn media. That's how we got in this mess in the first place. If Moses had public opinion polls and TV cameras to contend with, he never would have let his people out of Egypt.
Look, Governor, we got no choice. Now, all the troops in the world ain't worth a squirrel's dick unless we got those media horse kissing our ass.
That's the problem. People are terrified of being called racist for trying to preserve their own culture.
Yeah. Hold on. You want to know what you want for breakfast?
The usual.
Fajitas.
And Matthew, Helena, these units from the 173rd Airborne suddenly began taking up positions here shortly after the news of the Alamo came through. I'm talking to you from just inside Utah, very close to the border with Idaho. And just over here to my right is the encampment of Pakistani orphans, where, according to our information, busloads more are expected to arrive today.
General, I know you don't trust the media, and I'm with you 100% on that, absolutely. But I think you're missing the opportunity here to counterattack what's being said about you by these militia nut jobs and these opportunistic politicians and
Mr.
these
Franco, you and the rest of your ilk are a carbuncle on the ass of the military.
Carbuncle. Carbuncle. I'm trying to put a good spin on that word, General, because I'm sure you mean it as some kind of a compliment, right?
I ordered the media out of this sector, and that includes you.
Well, what about all that great press I give you during the Persian Gulf thing? Doesn't that count?
Get out of here!
Okay. It's too bad.
See who he gave the interview with?
I guess I can give it to
No,
somebody
I
else.
didn't.
Tape
Oh,
of,
it's Dennis.
You in that Panama whorehouse a couple years ago. If you don't mind my saying so, General, you didn't have any carbuncles on your ass that night.
Now we see his bona fides.
Are there any more copies of that tape?
Protests supporting both sides in the Idaho conflict are increasing all over the country in the wake of the bombing of the Alamo. As government officials fear more serious outbreaks of violence, there is trouble from an unexpected source on the Idaho-Utah border. Blaine Gorman has more.
Matthew, Helena, the Sioux Indians on this reservation have issued a statement saying that this conflict is, and I quote, part of the white man's war that we will not be drawn into. In effect, they too, like Governor Farley, are closing the borders to their big reservations. The Indians are receiving support from dozens of other bands all across America, many of whom they are partners.
It's getting to be a tad ridiculous. Mr. President, I mean a bunch of Indians on the warpath. If I may be so blunt, who gives a shit?
We do. That reservation is right smack between our troops and the Idaho border.
The Sioux. Aren't they the ones who wiped out General Custer?
Yes, sir. Not far from there.
Well, I'm not going to have another General Custer on my hands. I intend to take the appropriate action to ensure this does not happen. Can't we just let them have another casino or something?
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
This is Newsnet.
Good evening. I'm Matthew Langford.
And I'm Helena Newman. There are now less than 41 hours left in the countdown to the Idaho crisis.
And the White House has announced the granting of gambling licenses to the Lakota Sioux Indian tribe for a casino next to the Little Bighorn, where General Custer was killed as he led his troops.
There's nothing sacred. Next, they'll be paving Gettysburg. Or worse, Disneyland. Jim Cal, I need you in Washington.
Well, actually, that's a reference
More than anything
to how
else, but the
Disney
Idaho
wanted to build an American history theme park. It was not near Gettysburg, though. It was near Antietam, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or in the general vicinity of all the battlefields in Virginia. Place between
Civil War theme park.
No, it was an American history theme.
It was all American history theme park. Okay.
Oh man, maybe we should watch a video on
that would
Disney's
be interesting
America.
for sure.
Yeah, after this, or if we can get there faster. We only have an hour, but fuck. But it was but there was a Walmart that wanted to build near Gettysburg battlefield, or adjacent or on it. So that was a reference either to that happening or it was to happen later. I don't know the year.
That's funny. Oh wow.
Ron Perlman at it again.
Crisis has done is to highlight all the factions, all the divisions in America. And nowhere are they closer to the surface than in the House of Representatives in Washington. It's become kind of a political bazaar built on the ruins of the melting pot.
We know we're aware of the deals. But the other groups, the U Nation Islam, are making against us Chinese.
Hey man, this is Washington. This is what we do here.
The situation here changes hourly. What this crisis comes down to is wheeling and dealing. Most of it orchestrated by the White House and Kenya Nkomo, the leader of the Nation of Islam caucus. Before being elected to Congress, he made his name on the streets of Los Angeles as one of its most feared gang leaders. Every party is demanding concessions in exchange for their support.
And the Nation of Islam is now a big political force.
Yeah, apparently that was the big fear.
Well, no, it's because there's no other organized. I mean, I guess NAACP, but there's no other scary organized black political force. So, as a non-issue that they are in the 90s, even especially today, but in the 70s they were powerful or they were a force. Though it was always a matter of debate of how much of a force. Like, were they inflating their numbers? Were they lying about and of course when it came down to it, they were just full of bullshit. And it was, in fact, Malcolm X was one of the first people, not the first actually. Sorry, I was watching an interview with him and another person who was writing a book critiquing the Nation of Islam and using numbers to show that they were bullshit. And it was okay, Malcolm X, is how much of this is true? And he's well, about 60% of it's true, yeah. And so many words. Of course, there's a lot more words.
Sure.
But and again, this is mere months before he's shot by them. So, but the whole we're building an economy for the black man, but of course it was just a bunch of petite bourgeois, some corrupt business guys, and the people working for them, the blacks working for them in the organization, or just it was like a Caleb Maupin outfit. It's just they were practically slave labor for laundromats or something. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
It's just weird to see these artifacts of
I know
what the tropes of political satire in the 90s.
Right. What really got people's fears up. Yeah.
Of course, against Idaho. Now I'm standing here next to Congressman Singh of Alabama. Congressman Singh, what concessions did you get from the White House?
Oh, a great deal from my people. I told Mr. Buchan from the White House, y'all want our support against Idaho? Fine. But y'all have to give us 3,000 acres in Alabama and money to build our temples. And he said, no problem. So, no problem.
No problem. Jim Calla.
What kind of accent's that supposed to be?
I think that's supposed to be It's like
was that supposed to be like ironic? Where like he's
Pakistani, Alabama.
It's a country Alabama accent coming out of a Mr. Singh.
Yeah.
Or was that supposed to be an Indian accent?
I think just like blended with Alabama.
Blended with Alabama.
These are all just these weird non sequiturs that I don't understand what this has to do with the plot at all.
I can say one thing for sure, and I say this with absolute derision: they couldn't make this today.
Also because Phil Hartman, James Earl Jones, a lot of the people have passed, but yeah.
Besides that, I'm talking about.
I know.
And I was actually kind of saying like there was a remake that is being made of one of those things where it's like, no, it looks like they can make that today. They absolutely are making that today.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it was now, but it was
well, I mean, it's like how Jerry Seinfeld was like, he couldn't make Seinfeld today, except for Always Sunny.
Except for all the other shows that are like Seinfeld or influenced by Seinfeld.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Can't make an omelet without busting some sacred eggs. We're making history here. And you ain't with us, are you?
No, I'm not.
You should be. Why not?
Maybe because I'm a reporter. I ain't with anybody. Maybe because too many sacred eggs are getting busted. See, I rode the buses back in the 60s to bring people together.
Oh, God.
Pretty unfashionable now, isn't it?
Well, they do represent different political strains from that time. Separatism versus integration.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there wasn't just an us. There was not just a black movement. There is never one black movement. Which is why identity politics, as much as identity is a part of a municipality-driven politics or a politics of now, it can be based in other things too. It shouldn't just be identity. And
sure,
basing your politics just in identity is, something that I and many other lefties will rail against, but not succeed on social media, since social media is designed to separate people by identity.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's the few wins that people who are chronically online can get is people admitting that their identity politics are correct or whatever, or just what I'm saying, like
knowing you're not alone, right?
Knowing you're not alone, but also doing
even knowing there are like-minded people, you can't do anything with them, of course,
right?
Or you can't or just actually get anything done, but
like doing an epic takedown of so and so, that sort of thing. So it's like if you don't have the means or ability to actually organize, this is about all you can get. So that's why.
I started a video, not a video game, but it's like a visual novel written by the writer of Homestuck, but he wrote in 2020, and it basically is a influencer woman who's been canceled, 20-something. She was canceled, so she's been through all of that, but she also wrote in a manifesto because she's an ex-juggalo, or was a juggalo in high school, and that has influenced her. And basically, she has written like a clown revolution manifesto.
Wow.
And it's I just know the overall story. She basically takes her builds her social media presence on her manifesto and leads a clown revolution.
That is interesting.
Parallel or representative of the unrest of 2020.
Sure, yeah.
It was written at that time, or it takes place. I don't know. Actually, I could look up when it was written, but it takes place in the April of 2020.
Okay.
So I'm assuming like it takes place over a month, because the first chapter is just like a day, where she's just stuck in her depression cave, as she calls it.
Sure.
Her apartment in Nantucket.
In Nantucket. Oh, wow.
But it takes a turn. The chapter ends with her killing a cop.
Wow.
That does take a turn. It comes right out of left. Like it's not really out of left field, but it is. It just comes out of nowhere. Like because she was driving drunk, and then the cop, like, she was holding her manifesto, and the cop, assuming it's like a weapon, shot it, and this made her flip out and basically like tackle the cop and take his gun and shoot him with it. And then she drives the car in off the dock to and that's where it ends.
Wow.
That's just end of chapter 1. You know.
Yeah, man. It's
so I got with reading the synopsis. I'm like, I want to check this out, and it's an experience, of course.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds interesting.
It's called Psycho Colonials.
Psycho Colonials. All right.
Psycho Clowns.
Your wife, she's Jewish, ain't she?
You know, I forgot what she is. All I remember is that we met on the back of a bus.
Hey!
Wow.
Governor in the car?
I like that a little bit.
Wait, anybody seen him? I'll be dipped in dog shit. Where the hell are you? Son of a bitch.
It's out drinking. Drowning in sorrows.
Governor! Governor!
Oh, maybe we got some
Jesus
prostitutes.
Christ, Governor. Scooch over.
Oh, no, okay.
No.
It's not a mess.
She always parks right over there. You see that empty parking space? That's her.
Governor, we got crisis after crisis going on in there.
You want to know about crisis, Jimmy? She won't even look at me now.
Jesus.
He's just stalking Christina. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Governor.
God.
I knew she'd come back.
She's leaving a bomb.
What the hell is she doing?
Throwing up.
So she's still throwing up, yeah.
Christina, are you all right?
I'm pregnant.
Christina.
Yeah.
And you're the father.
Are you all right?
No, not really.
What were you doing behind that tree?
I was barfing. I have to go.
What's going on?
She parked her car just to barf?
She's pregnant.
I guess
Well,
so.
I guess she would.
I'm gonna.
Well, why was she driving past the cap?
And if it's a boy,
Couldn't tell you.
we're gonna call it Juan Pablo Farley.
On Pablo Farley.
Well, I guess the big joke
Got you hooked up
here
again.
is he's using
It's a
this. We
faulty
gotta
switch.
say, like, he believes in the rhetoric of saving whiteness or our culture, except he is 100% like integrating with Chicano.
True. Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that
Chicano
angle.
life.
Yeah, the heart
And-
wants what the heart wants. Even if your politics
Right.
say
it's through
different.
yeah. Right. I guess that's the theme. Love will just
Love
like
will
James Earl
conquer
Jones.
all.
He's not anti-Semitic because he fell in love with a Jew.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I owe you one.
Huh, no you don't.
Hey,
How's Howard
Ricardo.
doing?
She has good days and bad days.
Was he
What did
introduced
the
before?
doctor say?
He was. I don't remember what his
Nothing I wanna
role is,
hear.
though.
Say hello for me.
I will.
You know, other reporters or
Probably.
researchers. General intellectual guy. That's his typecast.
Yeah, I get it.
I came across
The
another
doctor.
great line.
Uh-huh.
The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity.
That is a good line.
The poets, nobody pays enough attention to the poets anymore.
Good night, Godfrey.
Not since the 30s, 1930s.
hell's going on?
Moving them out.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. Come on. Enough is enough.
He really doesn't like being there, it seems.
No, he's...
Except he seems to have all the blackmail material and connections.
Yeah.
Like he loves his job, but he hates his job.
Yeah,
I guess everything, the humor and the satire is just from how everything is a contradiction. There's nothing that only James Earl Jones and the people he talks to have any semblance of
integrity, sincerity,
or just synthesis. Like they're not in conflict,
right?
Or there's not a contradiction in it.
That's true.
So I guess that's the cause of the American Civil War is contradiction. I guess that's true.
Yeah, it's not untrue. Yeah.
Angle lens will look like there's less orphans than there really is.
Lady, I don't have an orphan lens, okay? I use a normal everyday lens.
Yeah. If we were the Save the Children Fund, you wouldn't use a wide-angle lens. You would use a telephoto lens.
And you're a big expert, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm talking about media.
That's why charities have their own media team now. Everyone has their own media team. You don't depend on the media.
Right.
But basically, it was the 90s where it became clear that you couldn't depend on, they're not a trusted institution.
Yeah.
It's because you had media, you had corporate consolidation. Of course, there was always a monoculture of just 3 broadcasters. So if anything, it's how were they not corrupt before? Well, actually, as Chomsky would point out, they were completely fucking complicit in all.
Oh, absolutely.
In all the bad stuff.
So
this whole
consent,
great journalist institution, but it became clear, especially if you're in politics, that with corporate and the news cycle and stuff, they're not a tool that you can use anymore. They're now you need your own. Because hell, there's no newspapers, cable outlets. I mean, these are dwindling populations and audiences. There's really nowhere that breaches everybody. You either have to spend millions and millions and millions just to have some kind of, share of consciousness, market share. The market is
attention.
people's attention, right?
Right. Yeah.
Whether or not they believe or they know or they're convinced of anything from this attention, but as long as people know, that's enough. Which was, Trump's thing. It's well, I know him. I know of him, and that's what makes him better in my mind.
Yep. Oh man.
Boy, we only got
we're closing in on it.
We got the third act, and we haven't even reached the crescendo yet.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, well, you know what? If these kids were not near the border, you wouldn't have a story. It is my constitutional right to do as I see fit. All right, you know what? You are a fascist. Do you know that? How do you feel about that? Yeah.
That's what you call everybody who doesn't think exactly like you do, right?
Blaine?
Yeah.
I want you to give that idiot a message. You tell him that you never get in the middle of a story. He's fired.
Burgess is going crazy. He says you're fired again.
Really? Fuck it. I'm done.
I'm out. Vinny, will you do us all a favor and just shut up?
That's all we ever do around here, Blaine, is shut up.
Don't be an idiot. We're in the news business.
We're a wall of noise, Blaine. Wake the fuck up. You know what? I quit. I'm done. Going back to New York. I'm going to tie one on.
You're not.
Finish that novel I started.
You can't quit. You've been fired.
It's just about a big enough piece of shit to become a bestseller. Then I'm going to take the money, move down to the Bahamas. The only time I'll see you fucking guys is when I'm channel surfing. I fucking quit. I've had it. Fuck you. Fuck him. Everybody.
Why are they chasing him?
We could have used you.
Because they need him that badly for his
anyway.
dumb fuckery.
What?
That's what I heard.
Really?
Sorry, could you rewind? I want to catch
Sure.
Anyway, you fucking guys is when I'm channel surfing. I fucking quit. I've had it. Fuck you. Fuck him. Everybody.
That's too bad, Vinny. We could have used you. I hear Mel's thinking of bringing in one of those young CNN producers anyway.
What?
That's what I heard.
Really?
Why do these two guys run around?
I don't know.
And he's just been fired, so why are they
apparently he fires them regularly, and then just
looks like they're doing fine with the two of them.
Yeah, right.
Clearly, Governor Farley is going to be the man of the hour.
And where is CNN here? It just seems to be the news network.
It's like, and it's just the one, the news net.
Or monopoly.
Governor,
Yeah.
Governor, you really want to get down off that damn ledge there. You don't want to be slipping or nothing. I'm terrified of heights myself. Oh, shit.
Look at that commotion down there. News crews, National Guard, crowds. Yeah, I just realized something. I created that.
Well, you sure as hell did, Governor. But now, why didn't you just come down there off the edge? You know, you could slip.
I love the edge. That's where life is.
Well, I know that about you, Governor. That's for sure.
And nothing ever happens in the middle. The edge. That's where it all happens. You still fuck your wife?
What?
Yeah, after a few years. It fades. The mating urge, I mean. I haven't slept with Eleanor for 3 years. We're all just animals, you know that, don't you?
Yeah, I know that, Governor. But the White House has federal troops coming in here right
Scratching
now.
for our little piece of turf. Mating like animals for a few years, all in the name of that thing they call romance, and then it fades. The males have to go looking somewhere else to plant their seed.
Oh, Jesus.
Juan Pablo Farley!
Birth of the Manosphere.
John Paul in Spanish, named after
Oh,
the
it's
last
much
pope.
older than that.
Well, Governor, I don't think we want to get into that right now.
far
I mean,
as-
we got our National Guard keeping out about 1 million Juan Pablos right now.
Well, hell yes, that's because there is 1 million of them. But one single Juan Pablo. One cute little kid. One future leader who'll take our nation to greatness. You're telling me we keep him out? My son?
He's an anchor baby.
Way, Jose!
Yeah, anchor baby.
Oh, I was having to change a heart because of love. Love is the
Love conquers
strongest
all?
force in the universe.
Wow.
As Interstellar said.
Pull out the media in here. It's better to have them on the inside of the tent pissing out than on the outside of the tent pissing.
All right, let's start at the beginning. How the hell do we stop this thing? It's already gone too far.
You gotta be kidding. We can order General Buford to withdraw all his troops.
That's weakness.
Well, then we can wait for the deadline and attack.
Madness.
Well, it's one thing or the other. I know which one I would choose. Mr. President, the public hates weakness. Shows up in all the polls.
Well, we've got another problem, and you're not going to want to hear it. When we set these deadlines, we were presuming that it wouldn't go this far. If the shit hits the fan, it's going to wind up spilling over into all my children.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
I forgot about that plot line.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I didn't bring it up because I thought you remembered it. But
No.
the deadline was like not 72 hours. It was like
It was
71
like
hours.
85, yeah.
So that whatever happens,
Yeah.
it's contained to an hour or so, and then all my children. Apparently, America's number one show in 97.
Yep.
But I mean, there was must-see TV.
It's me, your favorite person in the world.
True.
Oh, Vinny, how are you doing, Vinny?
I, for
Where
one,
are you? Palm
would never
Beach?
miss Sabrina
Basking
TV.
at Malibu? On the Idaho side of the border, I'm about to send back the most
Look forward to
important shot
whatever.
for the whole
Yeah,
crisis.
it was a classic.
Vinny, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. If I'm not mistaken, you were fired.
Oh, really? That's great, because now that I'm a freelancer, that means you have to pay me a whole lot of money for these shots, or hire me back with a raise.
Vinny, there is zero probability of that.
Oh, yeah? Take a look at this, my friend.
It's Cowboy Boot. What does that have to do with anything? The Gonzo has lost his mind.
Wait.
It's not
Vinny,
regulation.
Jim, move in on the shoulder patches.
Excuse me, would you mind turning around? Jim, you're on the verge of breaking the code, I can tell.
Since when have you ever seen cowboy boots on a guardsman except in that piece we had last year about that goofiness in Montana?
Montana? What does that have to do with anything?
Look at the shoulder patches. Montana National Guard.
Told you. Now look here. Hey, guys. How are things in Fargo?
We're from Bismarck.
So we could have just asked them.
Jesus Christ.
Instead he did all this
Governors for the other states
investigation.
are sending in their National Guards. Newsnet has just learned that America is on the brink of civil war.
Oh my.
It is no longer just
Here it
Idaho
comes,
against the
finally.
federal government. Our producer Vince Franco has just sent these images of troops from Montana, North Dakota.
But he's using a
and possibly other
Newsnet
states that are
camera.
prepared to fight.
So it's their property.
Right. So like
he's not going to be able to be.
He's not going to get that freelance pay. Yeah. Well, it's also sending them a live feed, so like it's not like he can hold the tape for ransom or anything. So, yeah. What a shame.
And only he could get these shots. Those other two guys,
they couldn't take shots or ask
lost
questions.
without him. They're lost.
Man, what a glaring plot hole in an otherwise flawless movie. Disappointment.
And I guess they're proud that they were the Montana National Guard were sent to Idaho. I would think in real life they would be like, what are you doing? Don't look at my fucking patch. Like, we get that camera out of my fucking patch.
Yeah, right. They just said it too. He's like, oh, we're from Bismarck. Yeah, here's Montana National Guard. Like, you think these governors too would have to make some sort of declaration on the record? I don't know how it works to deploy the National Guard, but yeah.
But I guess we're all breaking the rules now.
Yeah, we're in no man's land now.
Rules-based order, schmools-based order. Law and order for me, not for thee.
Mm-hmm.
They're one Sherman tank.
Sometimes the choice between war and peace, between survival and destruction, can hang on a gesture, a word, an inflection. After any major crisis, you could always look back and find that one moment that changed it all. That instant when a line is drawn in the sand and there's no turning back.
Well, it's usually a bunch of things coming together.
Right, yeah, it's a lot of
Boston Massacre.
Sure. Maybe a flashpoint, but yeah.
Well, your actions are unconstitutional and illegal. I'm ordering you to remove this roadblock.
You posing for the cameras again, Chuck, huh?
My orders come from the president. What I got to do is ensure that these children are admitted into the state of Idaho.
Well, I have orders from the governor of Idaho to see that that does not happen.
Well, you know there won't be no second chance, don't you?
Wrong again, Chuck. This is your second chance to be first. In the cool way. How dare you?
Turn the little ragheads around.
By the way, you still owe me a case of whiskey from that card game in Sarajevo. You cheap son of a bitch.
I'm not sure if this is appropriate.
No, I don't think so.
Ooh, screeching liberal women.
It's
Ooh,
so
am I right?
shrill. Oh, yeah.
Now,
how can you take it?
This one here, it has these 3 little exclamation marks.
Yeah, no exclamation marks.
Well, I could just sort of have them fade off then, just right after the
The
stinger.
country is falling apart. We don't need exclamation marks.
Mel, I got an even better idea. A telethon, like that Jerry Lewis thing, only with orphans and all that stuff.
Oh, is this a work in progress,
Mel,
Matthew?
just think for 1 second. It's your own rule. The 3 T's of great news. Tits, tots, and tears. Christ, we got 2 T's right off the bat. Then we get Helena to dress up in one of those push-up things.
It's a classic idea, Matthew.
Then we got the 3 T's.
20 hours left, Mel. Okay.
What's with
Wow.
Christine?
Nobody's going
She's
home
okay.
tonight. We're ordering in.
Swear she's having an affair with Foley.
God, I hope so. We can get some mileage out of it.
Ah, don't be ridiculous. This is a news outfit, not a gossip column.
Don't get pious with me, Alan. We're talking about what makes people tune
If Christina is fucking the governor of Idaho, it is nobody's business but Christina's.
What, Alan? What'd you say? Christina's what? Christina's fucking the governor of Idaho?
I know where you're going with this thing, Mel. Mel, you're not going to turn that raving lunatic into a human interest
You
story.
don't agree with him.
Christina.
Hello, Christina. Yeah. No, you look a little pale. What's the matter?
No, Christina, I do not need you on the Mexican border. I need you where you are in Idaho. And by the way, I can't commend you enough on the job you're doing with the governor.
Can't help myself.
Alan.
Who are these guys? You weren't here an hour ago.
I have Italian and Chinese out here. Hundreds of them.
Chinese? What Chinese?
If that's Vinny, I don't care if he's got the ghost of Chairman Mao. No overtime.
Have a nice day, Sandy.
Excuse me. Who are you? Where are you from?
Rhode Island.
The colonel says to tell you that we are the
Oh, right. Oh,
we are American
for those,
citizens who
well,
will do our
assuming
duty.
you're watching part 1 of us, but apparently, Rhode Island is majority Chinese.
Oh, that's
immigrants.
right. Yeah, another call back to that. So Rhode Island has showed up. But which side are they going to be on?
Well, assuming the president, no, it's immigrants versus nativists, basically natives.
Xenophobes, yeah.
God, I mean, it's gangs in New York, bootleg style.
Yeah.
In this conflict.
But that was a great.
Yeah, right.
That kind of went on too long. But.
Yeah.
Sir, Governor of Rhode Island's on Newsnet. What? Governor of Rhode Island's on Newsnet.
Our actions in support of Governor Farley have been taken because of boatloads and planes full of refugees from mainland China who continue to descend on Rhode Island. It is becoming increasingly difficult to cope and to govern. We therefore are supporting the position taken by Idaho in closing its borders and declaring that we too have the right to close our borders as we see fit. In order
You know what they say, Jimmy?
life, liberty,
No, what do they say, sir?
of happiness,
Character is destiny. We all have our destinies. And I have mine.
The national heritage of Chinese immigrants in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Trying to get there by tonight, okay? Oh, God! What are you doing here?
I need to talk.
There is nothing to talk about.
Yes, there is.
What?
I want to know what it would
I bet the
take
twist
to
is
make you
she's not
change your
pregnant.
mind. Try me. Anything. Just name it.
Open
I
borders.
want the man I fell in love with.
Terrific. I do just what you advise. Dot every ethnic I and cross every racial T. And what do we get? The goddamn Chinese, our goddamn Chinese, for Christ's sake, side with that prick Farley and his rednecks. Is this what it's all about? Sitting at the bottom of the goddamn melting pot when it's all boiled away and there's nothing left but lumps?
Well, you can always renege on that deal with Kenya Nkomo and that Nation of Islam group.
How many electoral college votes do they control?
Oh, 60, 70 on a good day.
How about the Koreans?
Oh, I don't know, 26?
There's your answer.
Well, no, not necessarily. We could let in 1 million more Koreans, jack up the electoral votes to 80, and bingo, you've got them eating chop suey right out of your hand.
Mr. President.
What?
They've blown up the Statue of Liberty.
At the height
This
of
is the
Reagan
this is where the
era,
clip starts.
It
I
was
want.
this,
Oh,
a gala event that thrilled America when the refurbished Statue of Liberty was unveiled.
Reagan.
And tonight, it is this, a shattered mass of steel and dreams.
Shattered massive
It looks like a
steel.
cutscene from Command and
Farley has
Con.
claimed responsibility in a
Or
message
Planet of
phoned
the
into
Apes.
Newsnet that reads, "We will no longer
this is
take
Command
in the
and
huddled
Conquer.
masses of the world."
I need to know. There will be no more corrupt political compromises. Their message ends with, last name like remember the Alamo.
Say Farley.
Farley.
Security around America's most revered historic sites, such as the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, has been heightened in the wake of the destruction of the
All right, turn that thing off. Everybody, get back in their tents.
I don't think so, Major.
I don't think I heard you right.
You heard me, Major. My sister lives in Idaho. I didn't get into this army to fight other Americans, especially for this bullshit.
At ease, Sergeant.
Fuck you.
Sir! No cameras. I said no cameras.
Put it down, asshole.
shot the officer, killed the officer in charge. They're shooting at others. Get that camera!
Killed him. He killed their own officer.
So what do you expect? You can only push people so far.
What the fuck are you talking? What are you trying to justify? Murder here?
You know, fuck you, Manassi!
Push me, you motherfucker! Fucking
Go!
you? This is the Army. The U.S. Army.
Y'all obey orders now! You hear me? Oh, goddamn!
I think we should get out of here.
Not yet, not yet.
Now?
You know, Alan, you have no option.
You know
How do you know?
Bullshit.
What are you getting unraveled for now? We're inside, not outside.
Mel, you just don't get it, do you? It's all outside now. Just get used to it.
There's desertions all over the place.
I'll tell Buford to get some movement. Anything to pull it all together. Move some armored brigades out.
We can't.
What do you mean we can't?
Most of the tanks need spare parts for the turbine compressors.
So what am I, a repair shop foreman? Get the goddamn parts, fix them.
We can't.
What are you telling me?
Hold on a minute. Mr. President, after the free trade talks you signed with Taiwan, we stopped making spare parts because they could make them cheaper. And then you got into that argument, dialogue with them, and they stopped shipping us any military parts.
Let's look on the bright side, shall we? I mean, after all, the glass is really half full. I mean, about those 70 electoral college votes. See, we don't really need the Nation of Islam, the Chinese, the Koreans, or hell, anybody. What we do is take the Irish off birth control. They will breed like rabbits. I know they're my people. They fuck like drunken minks. We'll be up to 80 votes in no time at all. By God.
That would take at least 18 years.
Yeah.
We're being ordered out of the area now. The military's ordered us away. They're setting up a firing squad right over here. This has not happened before. They're going to execute 3...
Whoa! Hey, turn that camera on!
What are you doing?
Get the hell out of here!
Well, you're not really gonna shoot these guys, are you?
What is this guy? Get this guy out of here!
Are you gonna shoot these guys? What, now you're gonna shoot me? You're not gonna shoot me. You can't shoot me. We're on national television here, okay? Come on, let these guys move.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yes.
I'm like, please, just someone punch him.
There's nothing left of it anyway. Just a bunch of politicians or executives who hire people in places we don't live. Are you gonna kill for that?
Squad ready?
Go ahead.
Oh, so it's not about the...
Hey!
I don't know what it's about.
Shut them. Oh, shit. What is this?
Please, we're on the air.
But it was a
In other
mutant.
news, related to this,
We're killing our own people.
Well, I guess they needed it.
in other news, the White House has said that they will be making
Yeah, and
a
then she like
statement
loses.
Fuck you, Matthew. There is no other news.
about this particular situation.
Get off, get off.
Our Newsnet correspondents are there. We will bring you this when we hear it. We have, I believe now, four correspondents.
This would be a very
at the
memeable
White
moment.
House. As soon as
There is no other news.
as soon as we are able,
Shut up.
most of it
Shut up, you little wanker.
under
Shut
control.
up.
However,
Don't you get it? There is no other news.
and hopefully we will be able to.
It just keeps going.
So that's the clip that I saw. I'm like, I want to know if this is meant to be satire, and I guess it is. So
I guess it is,
bad,
but still, they just keep switching back and forth.
Yeah, it's like I'm not
super
like, it's sort of
self-important.
funny, but it's also meant to be like taken seriously.
Yeah.
It's not hammy enough. I don't know what it needs.
I don't know.
But you gotta get your grandma.
That's right.
Part. So that was just within the army camp.
Yeah.
This has to be your decision.
It was made a long time ago.
I just don't want you to feel like you're gonna give up.
Are you gonna tell the National Guard to stand down now, or like what? How much more of this is there? We must be getting
Jimmy,
close.
How can he when he can't stand down?
About an hour
Okay.
before the deadline.
So we're almost
an hour
done.
before the deadline.
We got 10 minutes left.
Mr. Bucket! Mr. Bucket, I have some information you might want to know about.
You have my attention.
Mr. President. Mr. President?
Secession. He's going to announce 1 hour before the deadline that Idaho's going to secede and start a whole new country like the South did in the Civil War.
Well, that's what this Newsnet guy said, yeah.
How the hell does he know?
Well, I'm not supposed to know this, but it seems that one of their reporters is shacking up with Farley.
That son of a bitch. He's waging a public relations war.
You're damn right. And if I know anything, I know PR, and that is what runs this country. Now, if Eisenhower...
Forget Eisenhower.
Yeah, but don't forget, you're on the line for those orphans.
Screw the orphans. We went out on a limb for them. What did they get us in return? Every damn ethnic group in the country crying the blues. This
those
isn't a time
orphans'
for
fault.
Eisenhower. It's a time for Lincoln. Lincoln took the bull by the horns when the South tried to secede, gentlemen. If Lincoln was here, you think he'd let a bunch of orphans decide everything? I've said it all along. Action!
Jesus Christ, what now?
They should really have press jackets on.
Yeah. Maybe some bulletproof vests, some helmets. You know.
This one's for the Duke.
Treat it like it's an actual war zone.
This one's for the Duke.
For the Duke. Oh, God.
He loves the fucking.
This is Blaine Gorman reporting from just inside the Idaho border. The federal troops have attacked. There is war. The Second Civil War has just broken out 2 hours before the deadline.
It's here. It's here. Line of duty.
Too late, Eddie. Come on.
As you have just seen, our correspondent, Blaine Gorman, has fallen.
I'm trying to remember the words to the Pledge of Allegiance. I said it a million times when I was a kid. Right now, I can't seem to remember the words.
Jack!
See, they keep trying to put these serious moments.
What in
right?
God's name?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Perlman
saying.
and Jones. And it's totally dissonant from like the
satirical
the
parts of it.
jackassery
Yeah.
tone of everything.
And it's not like the jackass is just like comic relief from a super tense situation. It's just
No,
like,
I'm talking about everything else.
Right. Yeah, everything else is it's just completely uneven in its tone.
It's anti-humor.
I guess.
No, it isn't. I'm just spouting words, but all right, let's.
Yeah, let's wind up.
We got another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why? Farley was gonna quit.
What are you talking about? You told me yourself. We had to take action before Farley made his cessation speech.
I said succession, not secession. He's going to step down.
Oh, whoopsie.
He was going to announce that he's going to hold a convention to choose someone to succeed him, for Christ's sake.
Jeez.
He's
Accidentally
going to
started a
marry
civil war.
Christina Fernandez,
and raise Mexican babies.
Well, they had to make it his fault. You see.
I guess.
They have to make it PR's fault, even though PR has been a part of American corporate and economic culture since the 40s.
I think this would just confuse the shit out of him. So I think we had just better play this one out.
Oh, now it's sad and serious.
Yeah, see?
It should be ending like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they're charging at each other and then something like ridiculous happens.
Right.
And who's cutting the video? The reporter and the cameraman were killed, right?
Yep. Maybe James Earl Jones picked up a camera and went out there that day.
Well, the thing is, he does the voiceover for CNN, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's this. Is
so the
CNN.
fact that he was doing it for this fictional network is very hyperbole.
Right?
Alan, why isn't our logo on that shot, please?
What is with all this ground war stuff too? Like, did the U.S. just lose its air support somehow?
I go home and make breakfast.
Oh.
At least somebody's going home. I think everybody needs a break.
Yeah, everyone just needs to get some sleep.
Everybody's like losing their, in there, having a mental breakdown.
I read years
there
ago
for like
that someone once said, "Those whom the gods destroy, they first make mad." Or maybe it's just that we're an unfinished piece of art. Part tragedy, part comedy, part joy, part farce, a work in progress. But for the moment, we're still painting and writing in blood. And it always seems to come out of a lot of suffering. And someday, after it all dries, it will be magnificent. But until then, like all art, it's messy as hell.
Oh, and then intercut with the flag. Come on.
Order has been restored throughout the country. And with the
Oh, wait,
cessation of all military activities now
Here's
a
the
week old,
epilogue.
the former president appealed for calm. And in other news, the delayed broadcast last night of Susan Lucci's final episode of All My Children, in which Erica finally runs off with Antonio, became the most watched television program in history.
See, then they throw the satire in. What the hell?
I guess it's ironic seriousness, but I'm not. It doesn't seem to hit
don't get it.
for me because it seems to play it straight, but they're putting it between the satire. Like maybe the three writers or something.
I don't.
They didn't
Yeah,
like
it seems
that
like they
kind of
have.
writing room problem. There wasn't one vision here.
Let's see if
But
there's-
anyway, that was the and Zach. That is how it will happen.
I mean, Tim Pool was right all along.
Crisis at the border.
Crisis at the border.
It's always out of control. It's too much. You know, this country can't take such an influx of immigrants, and obviously we have unlimited immigration.
Yes, we just cannot
it's so
take
easy.
Oh wow. Well, that was a movie.
That was
it had actors. There was a plot to speak of.
And of course, it wasn't. Of course, it only took place that was the only actual violence, as I would assume.
Uh-huh.
So, this whole like second, Civil War, sarcastic terror was one thing. Some kind of clash, but two large organized, like an actual separate country.
Right.
That's no. We're the world hegemon. That doesn't happen with us.
Mhm.
It's not materially possible. I'm not saying it's not like idealistically possible. Like if we had the right, if everyone was crazy enough and you only push people so far. Okay.
That's awesome. Well, I enjoyed watching it and trying to puzzle it apart at least.
Yes.
Enjoyed Phil Hartman. Enjoyed Ron Perlman.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much Dennis Leary. Like, he's supposed to be this gonzo journalist, and what did he do that was just so out of the box? Like, tried to blackmail one guy. That's about it.
He pursued the story even though he slept in.
Yeah, but then he spent the rest of the time complaining about having to do his job. Like, I don't know.
Right, exactly. But I think that kind of two-facedness is very prevalent in the Beltway, right?
I mean, I suppose
the contradictions of, like, you know, I'm just out to be paid the most, but I also want to be engaged and I give a shit. And oh man, these guys are phony. But me, I'm not phony. Right. Oh, but I'm also going to talk about like how much I'm worth.
Right.
So
I also have a massive ego. Yes.
You're right.
Well, it was worth the watch for sure.
I learned absolutely nothing.
No. Yeah.
But it's good to revisit 90s media, I think, sometimes.
For sure, yeah, because like a lot of that stuff I forgot about a lot of the panics and stuff like that were happening in the 90s. You know, because it just doesn't come up much anymore.
The tropes.
Yeah, but I mean, some of it is still super relevant.
I feel like that woman, the clip that was taken where the woman anchor is shouting like, "There's no other story. Shut up, shut up." I feel like that could be a good meme. That should be clip checked.
Yeah,
the
there
rest
you go.
Of the movie, take it or leave. Like everything was just terrible jokes.
Yeah.
You can't make this today. Oh no, you couldn't make this today. Does anyone want to make this today?
No one would fund it. That's why.
Well, that's sort of what the code is, that no one would fund the art I want to see.
But this is because it's terrible art. Like, they just don't make those sorts of.
But you know what gets me excited? There was a bunch of E3 and other video game company announcements or with big press conferences are a thing of the past, thankfully. Nintendo just made their own, like, summer announcements for the next year. They are releasing a Zelda game where the protagonist is actually the princess.
Oh, interesting.
And because she is the embodiment of wisdom, it's very puzzle focused. And instead of using violence, or you use violence, but it's instead of a sword, you have a staff which allows you to copy things, including beaten enemies. So you basically create enemies to fight other enemies.
Oh, interesting.
And, or you create, or you copy a chair to or a table and you can jump on the table and get up to a cliff, And so thus, like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, there will be 30 different ways you can solve or move through a room based on what copied items you have, because you literally have a data bank. So it's almost like it is that system of like you have the inventory of stuff that you can just plop down.
That'll be interesting. I've really enjoyed the last two.
Metroid Prime 4.
Ah, okay. Which
might just be what gets me over the edge to get a Switch, even though there's a ton of other stuff, but I just do not have as an adult. I would if I had dropped any social, if I became Hikikomori, I guess I would have enough time to play all the games I could want to play.
Yeah. There's no time.
But otherwise, because there's tons of stuff on Switch that I would like to play, or at least games that I could buy I've been getting on PC, and then realize, you know what, I shouldn't be playing this on PC. This is a game I would rather play with a controller.
Sure.
Or on a Switch. But hey, I think I can plug in a controller on my PC, but
at this point, I think pretty much any modern PC should be able to.
Okay. Anything? Let's see. I'm hot. I'm going to the beach tomorrow. Happy Juneteenth.
Hey, there you go. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, man. It's and for the Beltway, it's so freaking hot. It's like, it's probably all right that most of all the Juneteenth events were Saturday, But that's what's kind of odd about it. You don't need to have Juneteenth events on the weekend because it's a national holiday now.
True.
Or at least in New York, it's a state one. So
I think federally it's a
yeah.
holiday,
It was
so.
it was the only concession from the George Floyd riots.
Yep.
If we want material change, we need the Bell riots, and that's this September.
Oh, that's right. That does come up in 24, doesn't it? Can't wait.
It was so far away a year ago. Now it's like, oh man, just a few months away. I need to make plans.
Yeah, right.
Though I don't know what they would be. My actual plan is to go to Chicago for vacation in September.
Oh, that's cool.
But maybe there'll be a larger event in
Fun city.
Chicago to join.
Sure.
Otherwise, the main Facebook event is in San Fran, where it actually takes place in Cannon. But the idea is to have not anti-homeless, but I mean homeless housing, maybe housing protests for housing.
There you go.
Rights. As a mass action, get nerds involved. But, so, may the 4th be with you. Oh wait, that was last month.
Yeah, that was also Star Wars, not Star Trek.
And I'm not paying for Disney Plus at the moment, so I'm not playing. I'm only watching.
I am, but like
seeing everyone else hate watching Apostle.
Yeah, I am paying for that, but like if it wasn't for needing movies to show my students sometimes, I don't know if I would, because I just haven't been watching it that much.
You could buy Means TV subscription. There's stuff there.
Yeah.
That your students might. Well, it's kind of limited in the subject material, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's an idea though. I haven't really checked into that too much. But...
Okay, now remind me. You probably won't remember, but what was the thing that I hit on where it's like, oh, we should watch that next? What was it?
Oh shoot, yeah.
Yeah. Disney's America. Disney's
America.
I'll
yes, about the U.S. History theme park.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, let's see if there's a video that's maybe less than half an hour, but
sure.
It was like this hour-long doc about like giving the whole thing, because you basically had Disney trying to basically, again, it was like they're trying to be like, because most theme parks, Disney parks, like they really want to have this educational component.
Yeah.
But it's entertainment. It's pure entertainment. So it's like they want to be both things. To be like wholesome family entertainment is also be educational.
There's a Defunct Land episode of The War for Disney's America.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one I'd watch.
Yeah, let's do that. 37 minutes, not too bad.
Okay,
we can fit that
skip
in.
around too. Because there's a 10 minutes where it's just about the real estate purchase or whatever.
Okay, yeah, we could probably skip that part.
But I do want like a big history theme park, but I want it to be like world history.
Sure, but not like the Disneyfication of
my
US
idea. And this was when I was a roller coaster tycoon fanatic. To have like sort of like a Busch Gardens in Williamsburg.
Okay.
But it's one town. It's like one English town. And each section of the park is the same town, but in each historical era. And then you can have themed shows and rides based on that historical period. So you have like an ancient or bronze or like a Neolithic area. You've got, and if it's like, you have a Roman kind of area, it's like, let's say it's like London or something. Or London type thing, and you have a Roman presence, and then you have a Middle Ages, then a Renaissance. So you have a Tudor, you have Shakespeare, you have Renaissance fair style. Then you have an industrial area, so it's like factory, and you got some steampunk type theme stuff. It doesn't have to be historically accurate. All right, it's theme park.
Sure.
So it's like a theme park version of history. So it's clear that this is not meant to be an educational thing. Which Disney tries to be, and it's just like this is so fake.
Oh,
anyway,
I hated like the Hall of Presidents
at
Epcot Center and all that sort of thing. That was so boring. I'm sorry, but
sure.
Yeah.
Well, everything in Epcot has to be like corporate sponsored, and so
Well,
that's
that
also
too.
what makes it fake. Where it's like this is an ad.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
All right.
But apparently, it couldn't be funded any other way. It's the only way it's like it could be profitable.
I guess so.
Which is just so stupid. It was like, well,
capitalist realism.
Yeah. The future Tomorrowland used to also be like, because it originally was like meant to be World's Fair like.
Yeah, right.
So you also had corporate sponsors like Monsanto.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Interesting.
In the 50s and 60s. This is Disneyland and proper too.
Sure.
Because they were a chemical company, so it's like the plastic and the what you can do with chemicals. Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
All right.
You're looking at the sign. Okay.
No.
Good night.
We have a giant rainstorm that just descended upon us. So.
Oh, okay. Well, congrats. Well, we T-storm forecast on Thursday, but tomorrow is going to be 100 degrees, even before the humidity. So, I'm going to the beach. I'm going to Connecticut.
Sounds like a plan, man. All right. Well, I look forward to next Tuesday and more fun.
Later.
Have a good one.
God bless.
God
save America.
There we go.
Good night.
Good night. All right. All right, so that's it for Dan tonight. I think I will just end it here. No raid tonight, because we're already past our time. But thank you all for joining, and I'll try to do a stream this Sunday. I couldn't quite make it this last Sunday because there's too much going on, you know, it being Father's Day and stuff. So, but gonna try and do it this Sunday. We'll see how it goes. So until then, have a good one,